XRP. And yeah, there's really a lot of interesting things to go over regarding Ripple in the current situation involving cryptocurrency. Yeah, I mean, as far as Ripple is concerned, I'm definitely excited to be seeing a lot of the various different developments that'll be happening. Uh, And of course, it is interesting to be paying attention to how this technology has been advancing so far. And of course, looking over all the various different possibilities that are in store for this technology, it's pretty safe to say that Ripple has the potential to really be a household name as we continue to move forward and we see this technology and all the various different deals that are being made across the board with different financial institutions. Seems as if Ripple is really positioning themselves in a strategic place that's going to be playing a significant role as we move forward, and we see the different variables that have to do with this technology coming together. I think the year of 2019 is really going to be a big year for Ripple, especially in respect to the fact that Ripple has come so far, and now the fact that we're starting to see these establishments with the various different deals like Apple, all these various different banks, and all these different financial institutions coming to really come and pay attention to this technology. It really is an indication of the fact that Ripple definitely has interesting future ahead of it. Right now, we're in the 2017, in between the 2017-2020 stage of Ripple. Ripple becomes the standard for international money transfers between banks, becomes the standard protocol for connecting banks and legislators and as part of Ripple's software. So as of right now, the most important thing that can be happening for Ripple is essentially more people coming to use it. Obviously, that's going to be playing a huge role as we see Ripple continue to develop. However, there are a lot of different variables that need to come into coordination respectfully as Ripple continues to develop. In particular, moving forward into the 2019 era, because right now we're right in the middle of this stage. Of course, it's right in the middle too, because you have to understand where Ripple is headed in the 2030 idea, blockchain solutions for capital markets and trade finance emerge. So essentially, the way that Ripple has been positioning itself is really significant as it goes hand in hand with the development of cryptocurrency in general, and a lot of the various different developments that we've been seeing happening across the board with various different technologies. It seems as if Ripple is one of those projects that's really self-aware of the current climate of cryptocurrency and the potential that's in store for technologies that leverage their sort of ability in the ways that can essentially move forward. But so in this video, we're going to be talking about basically how Ripple is going to be looking in respect to the real world, how basically once more levels of adoption become implemented, we will start to witness basically Ripple being used in various different levels of everyday transactions. Because essentially, when it comes to cryptocurrency, I would say that the banks are an essential component to it, because the banks are the doorway to every other level of society. And essentially, it doesn't really even matter how the public is thinking about these things. Certainly, I wouldn't discredit the public's conversation and the consciousness of how people have been perceiving these technologies. I wouldn't put that, I wouldn't say that lightly. However, the movements that are happening in respect to Ripple are definitely going to go hand in hand with the banks. And I know that a lot of people have criticized Ripple for being a banking cryptocurrency, essentially for the reputation that it's developed for itself all the way along till this point. And I can't really argue when you say that, when you make that point, because the fact of the matter is that Ripple is trying to go that route. The fact of the matter is that the banks aren't going anywhere. So when the banks start to get involved with cryptocurrency, it might not make some people happy when it comes to the conversation regarding, you see, when this topic goes hand in hand with the understanding of decentralized and versus centralized. And I think that it's really the mark of the times now that we're witnessing unfolding in cryptocurrency, because whether or not a technology is able to have those certain decentralized components, which Ripple is of course moving towards being more decentralized as things move forward. However, it is interesting to take into consideration the approach that they're coming from. Now, I've talked about before on this channel the fact that the future of these technologies, and really this sort of space in general, is trending towards the decentralized platforms, because decentralized, it obviously has multiple different there's problems that arise in a centralized basically technology that are basically don't even come into question when something's decentralized. So certainly when people make that criticism and it comes into the light with Ripple, I'm inclined to agree to a certain extent. However, I think that the level of centralization that Ripple has managed to maintain is necessary due to the fact that we live in the world that we do, right in this day and age, and we're sort of coming off of the old paradigm of essentially the way that things used to be going, and we're transitioning into the new paradigm. So it is interesting to see all these different variables as they've been coming into coordination in respect to Ripple. In particular, it is interesting to see how many different celebrities have been talking about Ripple. In particular, Ellen DeGeneres. I mean, what's that all about? Media industry, Ripple XRP at Ellen DeGeneres show. I mean, it is interesting to see celebrities paying attention to cryptocurrencies, because this essentially basically brings the conversation into more households and gets people talking about the potential that's in store for these technologies and so forth. However, and of course, we all know Snoop Dogg's name has been thrown around with Ripple as well. And I think that fundamentally this is an interesting sign, because these mainstream celebrities, they're not supporting Bitcoin as much. I mean, sure, there is a whole section of celebrities who do really hype up Bitcoin, but it seems as if there's a lot of interesting components of it really being talked about along this sector, especially when it comes to the deals that are being struck with Apple and so forth. I would say that Ripple is really positioning itself in a direction that's moving forward. We could see it as a global cryptocurrency, pretty much the global cryptocurrency as things continue to move forward, because you have to understand that the establishment, it's not going anywhere, and the way that things are currently functioning are really going to have an impact on the way that things move forward. So respectively, when it comes to taking into consideration all different variables involving Ripple, I'm in particular excited to be seeing how things will be developing within the next year. I think we will start to see really a lot of the essentials compiling and coming to the forefront, front and center when it comes to Ripple. And at this time, it really is an interesting time. I'd recommend that you guys follow Ripple on their official Twitter. They have a verified account and so forth, so you can be sure that you're getting information from the source. Always be careful about fake accounts on Twitter and so forth. But yeah, Twitter really is a great resource when it comes to learning information regarding these cryptocurrencies. And of course, you guys can follow me on my Twitter. That's at CryptoTuber. And if you're interested in connecting with the show in any way, shape, or form, that's how you can do so. And it has been really interesting to see how this community has been growing so far. I think that we've seen a lot of really interesting people, and a lot of I consider this channel to be a family. I consider basically everybody on here to be friends. And of course, looking at the current situation with the global market cap, it is interesting to see the various different ways that cryptocurrency has been developing in collaboration with the public consciousness. And of course, moving forward, I think that the banks are really taking a significant interest in this sort of component when it comes to cryptocurrency, because we have to realize that we are at the start of a huge paradigm shift that's going to uproot every element of basically the technology. What with the Internet of Things and all these different variables coming together at the same time, it goes without saying to understand the potential that's in store for these technologies and a lot of the different variables that will be coming up in such a short amount of time. So yeah, patience definitely is important. I would say that especially in days like today when we're seeing so much red, I mean, honestly, it looks like almost every single cryptocurrency in the red today. So I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there who are panicking. But of course, I'd always say, but of course, we're seeing, wow, E-Dine up 1,000%. Oh my God. If anybody has any, so anybody who's pretty much invested in this is probably feeling pretty happy about themselves. But what markets do they make this available on? Local trade, local trade. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. It is interesting. Does anybody know why E-Diner coin is up 1,000% today when everything else is down in the yeah, down in the red? I mean, that's kind of incredible. It might, hopefully it's not a glitch or I don't look like an idiot here. But yeah, it is interesting to see how the market's been acting in particular. And like I've said this in the past, and I'll say it if this trend continues to keep moving. I would say definitely you need to have strong skin when it comes to cryptocurrency. You need to essentially, when it comes to this space, you need to do your research into the technologies that you're interested in. And it's essential not to get caught up in the hype, because usually the hype is circulating when things are doing good, and then as soon as things go bad, a lot of those people who are hyping up certain coins are going to turn on themselves. But myself, I've been fairly consistent along the way. You guys can check out my previous videos. I've definitely done my research into the technologies that I am interested in, and I continue to speak about them because I am looking forward to the long term. I can see a lot of different things coming into coordination. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to admit, I would say that we're still going through a healthy correction. And of course, I would say that we never really exited the correction that we were witnessing happening right off of the fall from the all-time highs, which occurred at the end of 2017. And of course, there have been significant attempts to regroup and come back. But of course, we seem to always be returning to what seems to be the bottom, which we were just now exploring around April 5th. And of course, it could go lower than that. So it is, I wouldn't call it a crash, because what's happening in the world of cryptocurrency is due to global variables, and a crash wouldn't look like this. A crash would it would look slightly different, but it is definitely a very severe severe correction. So it is an important time to stay vigilant. And of course, like I said, really the only defense that we have when it comes to these things is doing our research and staying up to date regarding these technologies. And yeah, moving forward, there are a lot of different variables that have been coming into coordination, respectively, according to the Ripple timeline. But overall, I'm definitely excited to be seeing the potential that's in store for this technology. I could definitely see Ripple being a household name in such a short amount of time, due to the fact that the establishment has connected itself in so many ways to the Ripple name. In particular, seeing Apple and so forth taking interest in this technology. It is interesting to see how the technology has been advancing so far. And yeah, I mean, things are in the red as we currently look at it, and that's something to take. But for me, when I see things in the red, I see that as a sale. I think of it as an opportunity for me to accumulate more of these technologies, because I can see later on down the line. See, I remember years ago in cryptocurrency, people would see days like this and they thought the exact same thing. They were saying that this was the end, and you hear it. It's basically, you hear the same thing every single time. So what essentially it all boils down to is how confident are you? How strong are your hands? And me personally, I've been working out my hands. I'm pretty used to the way that things currently, this volatility is nothing new to me. And I think those of us who've been riding the roller coaster for any amount of time understand that this sort of volatility, it's only temporary, and we could see things bounce right back tomorrow. And a lot of the haters who've been shitting on these technologies, well, they'll be right back. And that's essentially what it boils down to. So if you're interested in connecting with me, you guys can follow me on my Twitter. That's at CryptoTuber, and send me any information, any links to any YouTube videos or so forth. I'm actually going to be including a shout out in this video to this guy right here, Crypto Lark, because he's really an OG YouTuber when it comes to making videos about cryptocurrency. One of the first content creators that I really started to take seriously. But yeah, definitely go and check out his video on XRP. And it's a 16-minute video, but it really does go into amazing detail regarding the potential that's in store for Ripple. And for those of us who've been really feeling the hit from all the red that we've been seeing in the market, it could be a renew in confidence for certain people, but I'll leave that up to your own individual interpretation. But of course, remember, standard disclaimer, this video is not financial advice. This video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. The whole purpose of me making this video is so that I could share my opinion with the audience. So remember, this is my opinion, and at the end of the day, I'm interested in hearing your opinion as well. So make sure that you connect with us on either of our new Twitters. We have CryptoTuber, and of course we're branching out to the new community Twitter, which is Crypto Clout, and both links should be available somewhere. So basically, yeah, if you guys are interested in connecting with us and sending us information regarding cryptocurrencies, perhaps those might be valid ways for you to do it. And all that being said, yeah, in my opinion, I could definitely see some real potential in store for Ripple, especially with the demand that the global community seems to have for this technology. It is looking forward to be a really interesting summer. And I'm definitely interested. And yeah, that's about it, I would say. Unless anybody in the chat has any suggestions. What did you get? Did you guys want me to talk about anything in particular? Will you expect BitConnect? Dude, BitConnect is dead. I thought BitConnect was a scam. I never paid attention to that. even from the get-go. I'm pretty sure people who had their who were in the know pretty much knew that from the get. It's just dangerous, those sort of things. I really only like to pay attention to cryptocurrencies that are doing things that are above the board. So you know what I mean? But yeah, Ripple's definitely interesting moving forward. Seeing what the banks are doing is really an interesting indicator of how the financial sector of the global community is going to be acting moving forward into the future. And yeah, so yeah, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this content, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.